Well, I'm trained to do that, and I work hard to be able to come up with the best game when it's the most needed. Obviously, today the first set was decided in 1 or 2 points. Second set was very close, and then midway through the second, I broke his serve, and the last 3 games I played very well. So I'm just glad to overcome this challenge. That is one of the greatest in sport, as always is, playing against Rafa. And I'm taking the positives out of today's performance and hoping that I can, finish off this tournament tomorrow with another great performance.
Novak, just following on from what Bill asked you, does that level kick in with anybody and everybody that you play? Or as you were just saying, rising to that occasion, you train to do that?
Well, it just depends because we're part of the individual sport, so every opponent that you play against is different, and according to your opponent, you prepare a specific game plan and tactics that will work the best. Obviously, when you get on the court, you adjust. You see what your opponent is doing good, what he's doing bad, and you try to tackle his flows. And then, the result is in not in your hands. You can try to do your best, focus on yourself, and then figure out the best possible tactics and just try to be in the present moment and hope for the best, because other things is just unpredictable. So you just have to try to be in the moment.
How different was the Rafa you played today from the one you faced Tara?
Yeah, he was better. Undoubtedly, he prefers playing here, comparing to Doha. I think these conditions are played in his favor more because of the ball bounce and the speed of the court, and he loves playing in the courts where he has a very high bounce. It's logical because of the style of the game he possesses and the rotation he puts on the ball, especially for forehand side. It's brutal to handle in this kind of courts. So yeah, he was trying to use that shot, move me around the court, and he did that at the beginning of the match. As I said, it could have gone either way in the first set, but managed to stay composed and serve well in important moments, and just believe that I can win.
Novak, you have a completely different matchup tomorrow against Raonic, but I also saw some of this match and also on how he's playing since January.
Yeah, Milos is probably playing the best tennis that he has ever played. I think looking at his performances this year, winning in Brisbane, playing semis of Australian Open, and then coming back off the injury and playing already in finals here, it's quite impressive. His serve was phenomenal before the start of this season, but this season it seems like he has improved it even more, especially the second serve. He's going for it more. He's not giving you the same look. And that's a very strong weapon, an advantage that he possesses in his game, that he obviously tries to leverage in the matches. I am aware that it's gonna be very tough to return his serve, but if I manage to neutralize his serve, get many returns back in play, I think I have a good chance from the baseline, and I also need to have a decent first serve percentage in, because I don't want him to take the advantage of my second serves and start stepping in too much. So yeah, I saw he's aggressive. He's trying to take the initiative from the first shot off his serve, which is normal because his serve goes 140 miles, and It gives him a lot of easy shots, I'll try to prepare myself, tactically analyze his game with my team, and we are playing finals, so I'll try to also use the experience that I've had playing in many Master Series finals and in this tournament as well. If I'm not mistaken, he's going for his first. But he even though he hasn't played too many Master finals, he's still very strong mentally. He's very calm on the court. He's very composed, and he's showing this. I'd say mental character virtues that are characteristic, I would say, for maybe some more experienced and older players. So that's one of the impressive things about him.
Novak, a few minutes ago, Rafa said that it's basically impossible to play any better than you did in 2015. Everyone always talks about getting better. Do you feel there's a next level, and do you see yourself taking those little steps when you're at such a high level already?
I feel always that I can improve, that I can play better. I guess each one of us, especially at the top, is very self-critical, and sometimes it's hard to be objective, and it's hard to say, how quick your ball goes, because you're not feeling the same sensation maybe as your opponent or somebody that is watching the match courtside. But as I said, I think that's one of the things that keeps me also going. The fact that I know there is room for improvement, and that I know that there's always certain parts of the game that can go better, and I try to motivate myself like that.
When you talk about adapting, how does that process work during the course of a match? Is it something that you can describe? Is there a specific process, or is it something that's just instinctual and you see something and you react to it?
Well, I think partly it's instinctual, and partly it's also the fact that you notice something that happens repetitively from your opponent. So if he sticks to a certain kind of pattern in his play that maybe you were not expecting, then of course you need to adjust to it and try to take him out of that comfort zone. It's all about that.
You said that there were 1 or 2 points that were really key. Could you go into those points for a moment?
Well, he started the match better, as I said. We had a very long first set that went over an hour and 10 minutes, I think, and it's not the first time. I know that it's very physically demanding when I get to play Nadal. I think I've had a couple of break points and 4-3 up first set. Didn't use that. He had his chances as well. He had 5-4 set point. So it was quite even coming into tiebreak, and tiebreak I was 5-2 up. Came back to 5-0 with some great defense and great points. Then I just served well and hung in there. Made him play an extra shot. So I think 5-0, 6-5. Those points, in the tiebreak, I mean, have decided a whole set, because more or less, if you look at the first set, it was quite even.
Novak, you're turning 29 in a couple months, but nobody younger than you has won a Masters title yet. Obviously, Milos can do that if he wins tomorrow. Just curious if you think it would be a big deal if this next generation finally break through, or why it's taking
I hope
so
not.
long.
Not yet. Well, I mean, the fact that we have now Milos, Dimitrov, Tomic, that has been around for a while already, and we have now Zverev, Coric, Kyrgios. It's good for tennis. It's good to see some new faces and players not only performing at a high level but winning big matches as well. And all these guys that I mentioned have won against some top players in the big tournaments, and they deserve the respect and the attention. But on the other hand, you know, of course you have one big tournament like Master Series or you know, one major, but whether or not they can keep that consistency and that level throughout the year, which is gonna make them at one of the top players, then that's something that I would say is an ultimate challenge for all the young players nowadays, you know, because you have to play equally well on all surfaces to actually get in the mix of, you know, top 2, 3, 4 players in the world. So yeah, certainly those guys can play very well for a tournament or 2 months, but can they play throughout the year and at a very high level? That's a question mark. But it certainly is good for tennis to have young players coming up and challenging the best.
Thanks very much.